Hello and welcome to another episode of my Working with Todoist series, and today I want to show you a quick trick that you can use that will help you to kind of compartmentalize your tasks so that you are staying focused on the task at hand. Now, this comes about because I know it's important to grab all the tasks and get them into your inbox, and we're collecting a ton of stuff every day, or at least most of us are, and hopefully that's the habit that you've developed, collecting from the C.O.D system that I sort of advocate, which is collect, organize and do. Collecting is a really important part of your system. If you're not collecting everything, then you're not going to trust your system. Now, of course, when you come to process your inbox, that's when you can apply a filter, if you like. That's a mental filter, where you can strip out the things that you think, nah, I don't really want to do this. And that's great. That's what the inbox is for. You don't just process your inbox and just put everything in there. It gives you a second chance to consider whether you actually need to do the task or not. However, once you've got everything into your task manager, the problem is, or once you've got everything into Todoist, the problem is that we end up with far too much stuff. And if you are randomly adding dates without thinking before adding the date, then you're going to get all this stuff coming up on days that just don't have any connection to one another. And that is where a big problem actually occurs. And I want to show you a few quick ways of being able to get that under control, so your task manager for the day, your task list for the day is much more compartmentalized, so you can focus on different areas of work. Okay, so without further ado, before we get into Todoist, I'd just like to say, if you do get any value from this video, then please help me by clicking on that like button below. And if you want to get all the latest tips, tricks and news on using this incredible app, Todoist, then please subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's go into Todoist now, and I'll show you how to get this set up. Okay, so what we have here is what I would consider a typical task list for the day for most people. Now, it's randomly ordered in that these tasks are all over the place. I've got some Chase Donald Munger, I've got follow-up Honey Rider, follow-up Hillary Bray, call Kissy Suzuki. These are all over the place, and they could... The problem when you do this is that you are what's called your task switching. And when you're task switching, this is how you mentally exhaust yourself. Now, you, of course, can do it, but it's not the most effective or efficient way to do this. So you can organize these by various ways. You can actually, in this case, I've done this by default, so it does this by priority. You can see here, we've got priority priority 1, 2, and 3 there. And if I want, which is actually my preferred grouping, I can group these by priority, which is what I do in my real Todoist, the Todoist I use every day. This is just my demo version. I do like to set them up by priority. The simple reason is these are my must-do tasks for the day. There's no excuse. They have to be done. Whatever they are, they have to be done. My priority 2 tasks are the tasks that I prefer to do in the morning. It's not the end of the world if I can't do it in the morning, but that's basically how I like to set things up. And then my priority 3 are the ones that I like to do in the afternoon. And P4s are just things that I'll do in between sessions. So like, for example, buying a microphone. Now, if I have a task called buy microphone, that tells me I've done my research. I know already which microphone I need to buy. I just need to go to Amazon or wherever I'm buying the microphone from and buy it. If I hadn't done the research, the verb here would be research microphones. But right now, if I've got a task like buy microphone, that tells me I already know what the microphone I'm buying is. So that's just to give you an idea of how tasks can be randomly all over the place. Now, in Todoist, like most task managers, you've got tags, or in Todoist we call it labels. And if I had this kind of work schedule, I would actually be using labels to do this. So what I'm going to do, just to save my, I'm going to come out of the custom view, just remove that. And I will just go down here and I'm going to go, I would call these my communications. So I'm going to go down here and I'm looking for my communications. So all the things that I need to communicate with other people, I am going to go into here. Just go down here, call Peter Frank, contact Annabelle, and follow up Gilly Masterson. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a label, and I'm going to call this communications. And I'm going to create the label, and that's going to add that label. So now I've got communications in there. So that's fantastic. I've got that in. Now I'm going to go down and look for my other types of work. So I've got a few writing ones here. So I'm going to go writing, and I can go down here and I can go write. I've got to look at just going down these, see if I've got any more. No, these are my writing ones. So I will go into labels, and again, I'm just going to go writing. You're going to see how this works in a second. So I'm going to create writing, and that's done. So now I've got writing, and I just go down here and look at anything else that I've got. So these are like, I'm not going to add labels to everything. This could be actually what I'm going to do here. I've got one here, which is edit. So the label I'm going to add there is audio visual. You're going to see why in a minute. Visual, and create that. So we've got that label there. And let's go down here. Buy microphone, I'm not going to worry about. Brainstorm ideas, I'm not going to worry about. So what I've got here is a group of things. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to go to my view. By the way, those of you who thought, how did you multi-select task? All you need to do is on a Mac is hold down the command key and then click, and you can now multi-select different tasks. I think on a Windows computer, it would be Control or Command click. So on a Mac, it's Command click. And I can just multi-select tasks just by doing command clicking on them that way. That's, by the way, how you do that. And just keep in mind, when you do that, the menu comes up on the top row right here. Just keep that one in mind. Okay, so now I've got that set up. I now have labels. Now, I should stress, I don't personally use labels in my own Todoist because my tasks, I've already got them quite well organized by priorities. This is just for you who really are struggling to have some kind of like way of organizing all the different types of tasks, but they do need to connect to something, which I'm going to come to in a moment. Now, let's go back into the view here, and I'm going to group by, and I'm going to group by label. So now what's happened is, although I don't have, I suppose I could actually change this order around. I've got my communications are up on top, then I've got my writing, my audio visual, and then the no labels down here. But right here is, I've got now everything organized by the type of work I'm going to be doing today. Now, you can, if I remember correctly, if we go into my labels, I believe we can move these around. Yes, I can move these around. So let's just say that writing is likely to be my most important one. So I'm just going to drag that up, and audio visual is perhaps going to be my next most important one. And then I'm going to put communications up there. Personal and work is just from a different demonstration. Okay, so that hopefully when I go back to today has changed everything round. So my writing now is at the top, audio, visual, and communications is down there, and then no label still at the bottom. Now, why is it important if you have multiple different types of tasks to organize your Todoist? Well, that then now connects to the calendar. So here's a demo calendar, just to give you an idea. And now if you look at my tasks here, I've got communications are down here. So I've got a load of communications to do today. They're all dated for today. These are the ones that I've assigned. These are the two most important. So you still can use your flags if you wish. But what you can do now is I can look at my calendar and say, okay, at 1:15 I've got an hour for communications, and at 4:30 I've got an hour for communications. So that's going to tell me that today I'm going to be doing, well, ideally, you want to fix this in stone, so it just makes decision making so much easier. So in this case, at 1:15, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing, which is dealing with my communications, which in this case, all I need to do is come to this list here. If I want, I can go to search and I can put the @ sign, and I can just tap on communications. And all I'm going to do now is I am going to see just my communication task for today. Now I'm in communication mode. So whether I'm using email or phone calls or text messaging, it doesn't really matter. I am now in my communication mode. Okay, so let's go back to my calendar. And well, today's Saturday, so I'm not, but let's just say that yesterday, I'm going to be doing audio visual, which is usually when I do my videos. I can just go into here, I can just type in my @ and audio visual, and there you go. Now, the thing is, I should just point out that if you're using search, this is going to show you everything. Ideally, what you want to do is to go into today and group your tasks by the custom view, which, as I say, just go into view, group by, and then you can just group by label, and now you have everything organized. And that's how I would if I had these multiple different types of work to do. Now, in my world, I do a lot of writing, a lot of video work, so this is why I have these labels up at the top, because if you look at my calendar, particularly at the beginning of the week, I've got writing time immediately at from the beginning of the week. So that's where I'm going to be starting my day. In this case, let's just say for argument's sake today, I've got 3 writing assignments, so I can sit down and get on with writing. This really just helps you from switching all the time to different types of work. And one of the things I've noticed about highly productive people is they resist that temptation to be jumping about into different types of tasks. They sit down and say, right, I've got an hour, I'm going to deal with my email. I've got an hour, I'm going to work on this presentation. I've got an hour, I'm going to write this report. That's one of the most effective ways to be productive, because you're always moving things forward, you're always keeping your list manageable, and it just helps you to prevent becoming overwhelmed by everything that's being thrown at you. So there you go. I hope you found this useful. Todoist does give you so many different tools that will help you to reduce that sense of overwhelm by what you've got to do today. So thank you very much for watching this video, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done, so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.